The Great Hall of the Galactic Confederation stretched for miles under a dome made of pure crystal. 12 different alien species sat in their special chairs, each designed for their unique bodies. The air smelled of different worlds, some sweet, some sharp, some like nothing any human had ever experienced. Elder Zixthera floated above the floor in a bubble of glowing gas. Her people, the ethereals, had no solid bodies. They were made of energy and light that changed colors when they felt strong emotions. Right now, her glow was deep purple, which meant she was very worried about something. "My friends," she said, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze, "I bring you something that will change everything we know about our galaxy." The other leaders looked at her with their many different types of eyes. General Kavash of the warrior caste made a noise like grinding stone. His people looked like giant rocks with arms and legs, and they had been the military leaders of the Confederation for over 1,000 years. "What could be so important?" Kavash asked. "We have kept peace in this galaxy for 3,000 years. Our fleets are the strongest that have ever existed. What could possibly threaten us?" Zixthara's glow turned bright red. She was scared. A small robot rolled forward carrying something covered in a white cloth. When the cloth was pulled away, everyone could see 3 stone tablets covered in strange writing that seemed to move and change when you looked at it. These tablets were found on a dead world at the edge of our galaxy, Zixthera explained. "The writing is older than any of our civilizations. It took our best minds 50 years to translate them." Dr. Veltar, a young scientist from the scholar caste, leaned forward in her chair. She had spent her whole life studying old things from dead worlds. Her people looked like tall, thin cats that walked on 2 legs. Her ears twitched with excitement as she stared at the tablets. "What do they say?" Ambassador Helnara asked. Her people were known for being able to speak with anyone and solve problems without fighting. They looked like tall trees with faces and many arms that moved like branches in the wind. Zixthara's glow grew dimmer as she began to read. "When the children of the third rock rise to the stars, when they walk among the void as easily as their birthworld's surface, the galaxy shall know a reckoning. They are makers of war and peace in equal measure, destroyers and creators, chaos wrapped in flesh. Fear not their weapons, for their greatest strength lies in what they call humanity." The Gaza Great Hall became very quiet. Then General Kavash started laughing. The sound was like boulders falling down a mountain. "This is foolish talk from a dead world," he said. "What species could threaten us? We have ships that can destroy planets. We have weapons that can make stars go out. And you bring us stories about some unknown race from a third rock?" Many of the other leaders agreed with Kavash. They had never been beaten in war. Their technology was so advanced that they could travel between stars as easily as walking, from one room to another. The idea that some unknown species could be dangerous to them seemed impossible. But Dr. Veltar was not laughing. She studied the tablets carefully and noticed something that made her fur stand up with worry. "These are not just stories," she said quietly. "Look at the details. The tablets describe star maps, planetary positions, and technology that we only developed in the last few hundred years. Whoever wrote this knew things they should not have known." Elder Zixthera nodded, her glow turning orange with agreement. "The tablets also mention that this species comes from the third planet from their star. We have been mapping the galaxy for thousands of years. There are only a few systems where the third planet could support life." "Even if this is true," said Commander Trixall of the Space Fleet, "how could one species be dangerous to all of us? Together? We are 12 civilizations working as one. We have billions of ships and trillions of soldiers." Dr. Veltar stood up and walked closer to the tablets. "That is exactly what worries me," she said. "These tablets were written by people who knew about space travel, about multiple species working together, about advanced weapons. They knew about us, and they were still afraid of these children of the third rock." The debate continued for hours. Most of the leaders thought the tablets were just old stories with no meaning. They had real problems to worry about: trade disputes, border disagreements, and the normal business of running a galaxy with 12 different species. Finally, the vote was taken. Only Dr. Veltar and Elder Zixthara wanted to investigate the tablets further. The other 10 leaders voted to put the tablets in the archives and forget about them. General Kavash promised to send some ships to check a few systems with third planets, but only to prove that the tablets were wrong. As the meeting ended and the leaders went back to their homeworlds, Dr. Veltar stayed behind. She had been given permission to study the tablets, but most people thought she was wasting her time. She carefully took notes about every mark and symbol on the stone. That night, alone in her laboratory, Dr. Veltar used the Confederation's most powerful computers to search for systems that matched the description in the tablets. She found several possibilities, but one stood out. It was a small yellow star with 9 planets. The third planet was covered in water and land with one large moon. The system was far away from Confederation space, in a quiet part of the galaxy that no one had bothered to explore. Meanwhile, on that third planet billions of miles away, a man named Captain Jake Martinez was looking up at the night sky. He was standing outside a huge building where humans were building their first ship that could travel faster than light. Dr. Lisa Thompson, the scientist who had designed the special engine, stood next to him. "Tomorrow we make history," Jake said. "Humanity's first trip to another star." Dr. Thompson smiled. "The ship is ready. The engine works perfectly in all our tests. Proxima Centauri is waiting for us." They had no idea that their journey would fulfill a prophecy written before. Their species had even learned to make fire. They did not know that somewhere across the galaxy, an ancient warning about humanity was being ignored by the very civilizations it was meant to protect. The next morning, as the New Horizon prepared for launch, Dr. Veltar made a discovery that would change everything. She had found the exact star system mentioned in the tablets. The New Horizon came out of faster-than-light travel with a gentle shake that made Captain Jake Martinez smile. After 2 years of planning and 6 months of travel, they had finally reached Proxima Centauri. Jake looked around the small bridge at his crew of 5. They were the first humans to visit another star system. "Engine shutdown complete," reported Pete Johnson from his engineer station. Pete was a big man with kind eyes who could fix anything that broke. "All systems working perfectly, Captain." Dr. Lisa Thompson checked her science instruments. "I'm picking up some interesting readings. There are definitely artificial objects in the system." Amy Clark, their biologist, looked excited. "Artificial? You mean alien technology?" "Looks like it," Lisa said. "There are several large objects near the asteroid belt. They appear to be mining platforms of some kind." Jake felt his heart beat faster. First contact with an alien civilization. This was the moment that would change human history forever. "Chris, start recording everything. Kate, make sure our medical bay is ready in case we need it." Chris Davis, their communications officer, was already working at his station. Kate Williams, their doctor, nodded and headed toward the medical section of their small ship. "Captain," Lisa said, "I'm detecting some kind of scanning beam. The alien platforms know we're here." Jake made the decision that would echo through the galaxy. "Open a channel on all frequencies. Let's try to talk to them." Chris worked quickly at his station. "Channel open, sir. This is Captain Jake Martinez of the Earth ship New Horizon," Jake said clearly. "We come in peace from the planet Earth. We mean no harm and seek only friendship with other civilizations." For several minutes, nothing happened. Then Lisa's instruments started beeping rapidly. "Captain, the platforms are responding. They're sending some kind of mathematical sequence." Chris studied the signal carefully. "It's repeating. Looks like, wait, I think Dr. Thompson should look at this." Lisa hurried over to Chris's station. The patterns on the screen were complex, but she had spent years studying mathematics and physics. "It's a warning," she said after a few minutes. "They're saying unauthorized presence detected and withdraw immediately or face consequences." Pete looked worried. "Maybe we should listen to them, Captain. We don't know how advanced they are or what kind of weapons they have." Jake thought. For a moment, the easy choice would be to leave and report back to Earth. But humanity had come so far to reach this moment. "No," he said finally. "We came here to make contact. Let's show them who we are." "What do you mean?" Amy asked. Jake turned to Chris. "Broadcast everything. Our music, our art, our literature. Send them messages of peace in every human language. Show them that we're not here to fight. Chris looked surprised. Sir, that's a lot of data. It could take hours to transmit everything. Then we'll take hours, Jake said. If they wanted to destroy us, they probably would have done it already. Let's give them a reason to talk instead of shoot. For the next 6 hours, the New Horizon broadcast humanity's greatest achievements. They sent Beethoven's symphonies and folk songs from every continent. They transmitted paintings, sculptures, and photographs of Earth's beauty. They included poetry, stories, and simple messages of friendship translated into hundreds of human languages. The alien platforms had never received anything like this before. Their programming was designed to handle known Confederation species, all of whom followed strict protocols for entering claimed space. The idea of responding to a warning with music and art was so unusual that the automated systems began to malfunction. Deep in Confederation space, alarms started ringing on dozens of military ships. General Kavash was eating his morning meal when his aide rushed into his quarters. The aide's rocky face showed obvious panic. "General, we have a situation," the aide said. "Unknown aliens have appeared in Mining Sector 7. They ignored all warnings and are transmitting massive amounts of unidentified data." Kavash stood up quickly. His people were slow to move but very strong. "Unknown aliens? That's impossible. We know every intelligent species in the galaxy. Sir, they claim to be from something called Earth. The transmissions include audio, visual, and text files unlike anything in our databases." Meanwhile, Ambassador Helnara was meeting with the diplomatic corps when she received the same news. Her tree-like face showed concern as she listened to the reports. "Are they threatening our mining operations?" she asked. "No, Ambassador. They appear to be sharing their culture. The platforms are having trouble processing the information because it doesn't match any known communication protocols." Dr. Veltar was in her laboratory when the emergency message reached her. As soon as she heard the words third planet and unknown species, she knew the prophecy was beginning to come true. She grabbed her research files and rushed to the nearest communication center. "I need to speak with the Confederation Council immediately," she told the operator. "This is about the tablets from the dead world." Back on the New Horizon, the crew was getting tired after hours of transmitting. "Captain," Chris said, "we've sent them everything we brought. Music, art, literature, scientific data, even home videos from Earth." "Any response?" Jake asked. Lisa checked her instruments. "The platforms have stopped sending warnings, but I'm detecting new ships approaching. Big ones." Pete looked at his engineering displays. "Captain, those ships are huge. Each one is 10 times the size of our entire ship." Jake felt a mix of fear and excitement. "This is it, people. First contact with an alien civilization. Kate, Amy, get ready to meet our new neighbors. Chris, keep recording everything. Lisa, monitor their weapons, but don't do anything that might seem threatening." The alien ships were beautiful and strange. They looked like they had been grown rather than built, with smooth curves and colors that shifted like oil on water. As they got closer, the humans could see that each ship was different, as if they had been designed by completely different species. "Incoming transmission," Chris announced. "It's using a completely different technology than what we use for communication." "Can you understand it?" Jake asked. "Not yet, but I'm working on it." "Wait, I think they're trying to learn our language. From the broadcast we sent them, Dr. Veltar's ship was part of the fleet approaching the humans. She had convinced the council to let her come as a scientific observer. As she studied the readings from the human ship, she felt a chill run through her fur. "Commander," she said to the ship's captain, "these beings match the description in the prophecy exactly. They've reached the stars, they walk in space, and they responded to our warnings with offerings of peace and culture." The commander, a member of the warrior caste like General Kavash, looked skeptical. "They're just another species, Doctor. Probably more advanced than they appear if they can travel between stars." "You don't understand," Dr. Veltar said urgently. "The prophecy warned us about this exact situation. We're supposed to be careful how we handle first contact." But it was too late for careful. The military commanders were already making decisions based on standard protocols. The human ship was in Confederation space without permission. They had ignored warnings. According to military regulations, they were hostile until proven otherwise. On the New Horizon, Jake watched as the alien fleet formed a circle around his small ship. "I don't think they're here to welcome us to the neighborhood," he said quietly. Chris suddenly looked up from his station. "Captain, I'm getting a transmission. It's in English, but the grammar is strange. They're demanding that we surrender our ship and submit to interrogation." Jake looked at his crew. They had traveled farther from home than any human in history. They were alone, outnumbered, and facing alien technology they didn't understand. But they were still human. "Chris, open a channel," Jake said. "This is Captain Martinez. We are peaceful explorers from Earth. We request permission to speak with your leaders about establishing friendly relations between our peoples." The response came quickly. The alien voice was harsh and mechanical. "You have violated Confederation space. Your ship will be seized and your crew detained for questioning. Do not resist." Jake looked at his crew one more time. "Well, people," he said with a sad smile, "I guess this didn't go quite like we planned." Captain Kelly Roberts had been in space for 3 months when her ship, the Stellar Dawn, detected the alien fleet. She was leading humanity's second interstellar mission, searching for any sign of the missing New Horizon. What she found instead was 12 massive alien warships waiting in the darkness between stars. "Captain," called Lieutenant Ryan Hayes from his tactical station, "they're definitely not human ships. Design is completely foreign." Kelly stared at the view screen. The alien ships were beautiful but frightening, like huge sea creatures floating in space. Each one could easily destroy her small exploration vessel. "Any sign of Captain Martinez and his crew?" "Negative, ma'am," replied Communications Officer Danny Torres. "But I am picking up some unusual debris, pieces of metal that match New Horizon's hull composition." Kelly felt her stomach drop. Jake Martinez had been her friend since their days at the academy. The thought that he and his crew might be dead made her angry and sad at the same time. "Are you sure?" "Yes, ma'am. The debris field suggests the ship was destroyed several weeks ago." Kelly made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "Danny, open a channel to the alien fleet. Let's find out what happened to our people." The alien commander was Captain Mordek of the Confederation Navy. His people looked like giant insects with 4 arms and eyes that could see in many different types of light. He had been ordered to patrol this area after the incident with the first human ship. "Unknown vessel," Mordek transmitted. "You have entered Confederation space without permission. Identify yourself immediately." "This is Captain Kelly Roberts, of the Earth vessel Stellar Dawn," Kelly responded. "We're looking for our missing crew. Did you encounter a ship called the New Horizon?" Mordek's translator worked hard to understand the human language. His species communicated through complex chemical signals and bioelectric fields. The idea of using sound waves to share thoughts seemed primitive and crude to him. "The vessel you mentioned was destroyed for violating our territory," Mordek replied. "Your species appears to be aggressive expansionists. You will surrender immediately." Kelly felt rage building inside her chest. Jake and his crew had been peaceful explorers, not soldiers. "You murdered 5 innocent people," she said, her voice cold with anger. "They were scientists and explorers. They meant no harm." Mordek interpreted Kelly's emotional response as a threat display. In his culture, showing strong emotions was how warriors prepared for battle. "You confirm hostile intentions," he transmitted. "Prepare to be destroyed." "Captain," Ryan Hayes called out, "they're powering weapons." Kelly had seconds to make a choice. She could try to run, but the alien ships were faster and more powerful. She could surrender, but these aliens had already killed 1 human crew. Or she could fight. "All hands, battle stations," Kelly announced over the ship's communication system. "Prepare for combat." The battle began badly for the humans. The Stellar Dawn was an exploration ship with only light weapons for protection against asteroids and space debris. The alien ships had enough firepower to destroy planets. But Kelly had something the aliens didn't expect: human unpredictability. "Ryan, target their lead ship's engine section," she ordered. Danny broadcast a surrender message on all frequencies. Captain? Danny looked confused. Just do it, Kelly said. Trust me. As the aliens heard the surrender message, they slowed their attack, thinking the humans were giving up. At that exact moment, Kelly ordered full speed ahead, aiming straight at the alien flagship. Captain, we're going to crash, shouted Engineer Maria Santos from her station. Not quite, Kelly said with a grim smile. Ryan, fire all weapons at point-blank range, then punch it. The Stellar Dawn flew so close to the alien ship that their hulls almost touched. Ryan fired every weapon they had directly into the enemy's engine section. Then Maria activated the fastest acceleration their ship could manage. Captain Mordek watched in shock as the tiny human ship crippled his flagship and escaped before he could react. No known species fought like this. Most civilizations preferred long-range tactical battles with minimal risk. The idea of flying directly at a much larger enemy ship was considered insane. Damage report. Mordek commanded. Sir, our main engines are destroyed. Weapons are offline. The humans used a suicide attack, but they escaped. Mordek said, confused. Why attack if they plan to survive? His crew had no answer. This was completely outside their understanding of warfare. On the Stellar Dawn, Kelly was dealing with her own damage. Maria, what's our status? Hull breaches on 3 decks. Main engines running at 60% and our weapons are completely drained, Maria reported. But we're alive, and we can still travel. Kelly opened a channel to Earth. This is Captain Roberts reporting a hostile first contact situation. Human crew has been killed by alien forces. Request immediate military assistance. The message would take months to reach Earth, but Kelly didn't know that help was already on the way. Admiral Ben Parker had been worried about the long silence from both exploration missions. He was bringing the new battleship Earth's Pride and 5 escort ships to investigate. Back in Confederation space, General Kavash was studying the reports from Captain Mordek's encounter. The human tactics made no sense to him. They flew directly. At our ships? He asked his aide. Yes, sir. At a range where any normal species would be destroyed by our defensive systems. And they succeeded in disabling our flagship? Yes, sir. Captain Mordek requests reinforcements. He believes the humans are planning a larger attack. Kavash stood up, his rocky body creaking like an old building. Send the 3rd Fleet to that sector. If these humans want a war, we'll give them one they'll never forget. Dr. Veltar was in her laboratory when she heard about the battle. She immediately contacted Elder Zixathera. The prophecy is coming true, she said urgently. The humans are here and we're already fighting them. What do you mean? Zixathera asked, her glow shifting to worried orange. Don't you see? The tablets warned us about this. They said the children of the 3rd Rock would bring chaos, that they were makers of war and peace. We should be trying to understand them, not fight them. It's too late for that now, Zixathera replied sadly. General Kavash has declared them a threat to Confederation security. The military is in control now. Meanwhile, on Earth, the news of alien contact and hostile action united humanity like nothing ever had before. Every nation put aside their differences to face this new threat together. Factories worked around the clock building new ships and weapons. Dr. Lisa Thompson, who had survived the destruction of the New Horizon by being rescued by a Confederation science ship, was freed in a prisoner exchange and immediately began working on new technologies. They have energy shields that can stop our current weapons, she explained to Admiral Parker. But I've been studying their technology while I was their prisoner. I think I know how to beat them. Admiral Parker looked at the plans she showed him. This could work, but it's extremely dangerous. Sir, Lisa said, they killed Captain Martinez and his crew for trying to make peaceful contact. If we don't stop them, they'll destroy Earth. Kelly Roberts was promoted to Admiral and given command of humanity's first true battle fleet. She stood on the bridge of the Unity, looking at the 10 ships under her command. Each one was filled with volunteers who knew they might never see home again. Admiral, Ryan Hayes said from his new position as her second in command. Long-range sensors show a large alien fleet approaching. Kelly smiled grimly. Then let's show them what happens when you mess with humanity. The second battle of Proxima Centauri was about to begin, and neither side fully understood what they were fighting for. The aliens saw aggressive invaders who had to be stopped. The humans saw murderers who had killed innocent explorers. Both sides were wrong and both sides were right, and the galaxy was about to learn why the ancient prophecy had warned about humanity's arrival among the stars. The war that started with one misunderstanding grew like a fire that no one could control. Within 6 months, half the galaxy was fighting. Admiral Kelly Roberts commanded the human fleet from her flagship Unity, while General Kavash led the combined forces of 12 alien civilizations against what they saw as an invasion by savage creatures from a distant world. Captain Jake Martinez, who everyone thought was dead, was actually alive but trapped on a Confederation prison world. He and his crew had been captured when the New Horizon was destroyed, but they were kept secret because Dr. Veltar had convinced some Confederation scientists that the humans might be the key to understanding the ancient prophecy. Jake, Dr. Lisa Thompson said as they sat in their prison cell. I've been studying the alien technology they use to guard us. I think I can get us out of here. Pete Johnson looked up from where he was fixing a broken water recycler with alien parts. Even if we escape, Lisa, we're on an alien world thousands of light years from Earth. How would we get home? One step at a time, Jake said. First we get out, then we find a way to contact our people and tell them this whole war is based on a misunderstanding. But the war was growing beyond anyone's ability to stop it. Admiral Ben Parker had arrived from Earth, with 50 new ships and weapons that Dr. Thompson's team had designed before she was captured. The human fleet now included massive battleships like the Defiance and Earth's Pride, along with dozens of smaller, faster ships that could strike quickly and disappear. The aliens had their own advantages. The Hive Mind Collective could coordinate thousands of ships perfectly, moving like a single giant organism. The Techno-Synthesis Union built robot fighters that never got tired or scared. The Void Stalkers had invisible ships that could appear anywhere without warning. Admiral Parker, reported Captain Frank Miller from the bridge of the Defiance. Enemy fleet approaching. Looks like at least 200 ships. Parker studied the tactical display. The aliens always used the same strategy, overwhelming numbers in careful formations. It worked well against other alien species, but humans fought differently. Signal the fleet, Parker ordered. Execute Plan Chaos. The human ships suddenly broke formation and scattered in all directions. To the alien commanders, it looked like the humans were running away in panic. General Kavash ordered his fleet to pursue and destroy the retreating enemies, but the humans weren't retreating. They were setting up an ambush. Captain Sarah Blake commanded the fast attack ship Lightning. She and 9 other small ships had hidden in an asteroid field, waiting for the alien fleet to pass by. When the enemy ships flew past them, chasing what they thought were fleeing humans, Sarah gave the order to attack. All ships target their engines, she commanded. Hit them fast and get out. The small human ships darted between the huge alien vessels like angry insects, striking at weak points and disappearing before the aliens could respond. Within minutes, half of General Kavash's fleet was crippled and floating helplessly in space. Impossible, Kavash roared on his command ship. How can such small ships cause so much damage? His aides studied the battle reports. Sir, the humans don't fight like any known species. They use individual ship tactics instead of fleet coordination. Each captain makes independent decisions. That should make them weaker, not stronger, Kavash said, confused. Yes, sir. But somehow it doesn't. The battle was a disaster for the Confederation, but it taught them something important about humans. Dr. Veltar, who was monitoring the battle from a science ship, made careful notes about human fighting methods. They don't fight like a hive mind or a computer, she explained to Elder Zixthera. Each human ship captain thinks for themselves, but they all work toward the same goal. It's like they're connected by something we can't see. What do you mean? Zixthera asked. They call it things like duty and honor and protecting others, Veltar said. These aren't physical things, but the humans will die for them. It makes them incredibly dangerous and completely unpredictable. Meanwhile, on Earth, the war had changed human civilization completely. Dr. Lisa Thompson's replacement, Dr. Carl Stevens, was working on weapons that could destroy entire star systems. If we can't make peace with them, he told the World Council, we need to make sure they can't hurt Earth. How long until the weapon is ready? Asked President Michelle Carter. 6 months, maybe less. But Admiral Parker is right. If we use this, there's no going back. We'd be committing genocide on a galactic scale. On the prison world, Jake Martinez and his crew finally managed to escape. Using Lisa's knowledge of alien technology and Pete's engineering skills, they stole a small Confederation ship and headed for the nearest human fleet. They arrived just as Admiral Kelly Roberts was planning humanity's biggest attack yet. The Battle of the Helix Nebula would decide who controlled the entire sector. Jake, Kelly said when she saw her old friend on the bridge of the Unity. We thought you were dead. Not yet, Jake replied. But Kelly, we need to talk. This whole war is wrong. Jake quickly explained what he had learned during his imprisonment. The Confederation thought humans were aggressive invaders. The humans thought the aliens were murderers. Both sides were acting on incomplete information. It doesn't matter now, Kelly said sadly. Too many people have died on both sides. The Confederation won't listen to peace talks, and Earth wants revenge for what happened to you and your crew. Then we have to make them listen, Jake said. The Battle of the Helix Nebula began 3 days later. General Kavash brought 800 ships from 6 different alien species. Admiral Parker commanded 200 human vessels, including some equipped with Dr. Stevens' new Star Killer weapons. The battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships used tactics that seemed completely insane, ramming alien vessels, fighting at point-blank range, and continuing to attack even when they were badly damaged. Captain Tony Rodriguez commanded the destroyer Hope. When his ship was surrounded by 5 alien cruisers, he ordered his crew to evacuate in escape pods and then flew his ship directly into the alien formation, destroying himself and 4 enemy vessels. Why did he do that? Asked Captain Mordek, who was watching from his command ship. His crew escaped safely. He could have surrendered. Dr. Veltar, who was again observing the battle, tried to explain. The humans don't just fight for survival. They fight for ideas. Captain Rodriguez died to protect his crew and to help his fleet win the battle. To humans, that's more important than his own life. The battle turned when Admiral Parker made a decision that horrified both sides. Rather than lose more ships, he ordered the use of 1 Star Killer weapon against an empty star system near the battlefield. The weapon worked exactly as designed. The star exploded in a blast of light that could be seen from hundreds of light years away. The message was clear. Humans could destroy entire solar systems if they chose to. General Kavash stared at the dying star on his view screen. They destroyed a sun, he whispered. Not for territory or resources, just to show us they could. For the first time since the war began, both fleets stopped shooting and just floated in space, staring at the destruction humanity had unleashed. Dr. Veltar felt her fur standing up with fear. The prophecy, she said quietly. It said they were destroyers and creators. Now we've seen what they can destroy. On the Unity, Admiral Kelly Roberts was having the same thought. What have we done? She asked Jake Martinez. What we had to do to survive, Jake replied. But now we need to find a way to make peace before we destroy the whole galaxy. Both fleets slowly withdrew from the battlefield, but everyone knew the war was far from over. Humanity had shown they could destroy stars. The Confederation had shown they had the numbers to fight for decades. And somewhere in the ancient archives, tablets written millions of years ago waited to reveal the truth that could save them all. The final battle began at the edge of Confederation space near their capital world of Zentara Prime. Admiral Kelly Roberts led a desperate human assault with every ship Earth could send, over 300 vessels carrying the last hope of humanity. If they failed here, the Confederation's massive fleets would reach Earth within months. Captain Jake Martinez stood beside Kelly on the bridge of the flagship Unity. He had convinced the human leadership to let him try one last peace mission, but only after the military secured a strong position. Enemy fleet detected, reported Lieutenant Ryan Hayes. Over 1,000 ships, Captain. Every species in the Confederation is represented. Kelly looked at the massive alien force on her screen. Well, Jake, you'll get your chance to talk to them. But first we have to survive long enough for them to listen. The battle was fierce and terrible. Human ships fought with the desperate courage of people defending their homeworld. The Confederation fought with the overwhelming power of 12. Civilizations united against what they saw as a threat to galactic peace. Dr. Veltar was on the planet's surface, in the ancient archives beneath the capital city. While the battle raged overhead, she was making the discovery that would change everything. Deep in the oldest section of the archives, she found more tablets, hundreds of them, all written in the same ancient script as the prophecy. Elder Zixthara, she called through her communicator. You need to see this immediately. Zixthara's energy form materialized in the archive chamber, her glow dim with worry about the battle above. Veltar, this is not the time for research. Our civilization is at war. That's exactly why this is the time, Veltar said urgently. These tablets, they're not just prophecies, they're historical records, and they tell a story that changes everything we know about the galaxy. Meanwhile, in space, the human fleet was taking heavy losses. Captain Maria Santos watched her ship courage fall apart around her as alien weapons tore through the hull. All hands abandon ship, she ordered, but she stayed at her post to make sure her crew escaped safely. Admiral Ben Parker, commanding from the battleship Defiance, saw that the human fleet couldn't win through force alone. Signal Admiral Roberts, he ordered. Tell her it's time for Captain Martinez to try his peace mission. Jake took a small shuttle and flew directly toward the Confederation flagship, broadcasting messages of peace on all frequencies. This is Captain Jake Martinez of Earth. I request permission to speak with your commanders. This war is based on a terrible misunderstanding. General Kavash received the message on his command ship. His rocky face showed confusion. The human wants to talk in the middle of a battle? Sir, his aide said. The small ship is unarmed and flying directly at us. It's either very brave or very stupid. Bring them aboard, Kavash decided. I want to see what kind of creature fights like this. Back in the archives, Dr. Veltar was reading tablets that made her fur stand up with shock. Zixthara, listen to this. In the time of the first galaxy, we ruled the stars as gods rule the heavens. Our ships numbered in the millions, our worlds in the thousands. We were the children of the third rock, and the cosmos bowed before our wisdom and our strength. Ancient propaganda, Zixthara said dismissively. Every dead civilization claims they were the greatest. No, look at this, Veltar insisted, pointing to detailed star maps carved in stone. These charts show the galaxy exactly as it was 12 million years ago. The positions of young stars, the locations of nebulae that have long since dispersed. No one could fake this level of detail. Zixthara's glow began to change colors as she realized what Veltar was suggesting. You're saying, these humans were here before, Veltar finished. They ruled the galaxy millions of years ago, and according to these tablets, they left voluntarily. On the Confederation flagship, Jake Martinez stood in a room full of alien commanders representing 12 different species. General Kavash looked like a walking mountain. Ambassador Helnara's tree-like form swayed gently. Captain Mordek's insect features clicked with nervous energy. You wanted to talk, Kavash said. Talk. Jake took a deep breath. This war started because both our peoples made assumptions about each other. You thought we were aggressive invaders. We thought you were murderers. Both of us were wrong. Your species destroyed 5 star systems in the last battle, Helnara said, her branches rustling with anger. How is that not aggressive? Because we only did it after you destroyed our first ship and killed our peaceful explorers, Jake replied. We're not naturally violent, but we will fight to protect ourselves and others. Prove it, Kavash challenged. Jake activated a small device that projected images from Earth. The alien commanders saw human cities, art, music, and families. They saw humans caring for their sick, protecting their children, and working together to solve problems. This is who we really are, Jake said. We came to the stars looking for friends, not enemies. Dr. Veltar's voice suddenly came through the ship's communication system. General Kavash, you need to hear this immediately. I'm in the archives and I've made a discovery that explains everything. The images changed to show the ancient tablets. Veltar's excited voice filled the room as she read from the stone records. When we saw that our dominance was crushing the spirits of younger species, we made the greatest choice in galactic history. We withdrew from the stars and returned to our birth world, seeding it with genetic material that would eventually grow into a new version of our people. The alien commanders stared at the images in shock. Jake felt his own amazement growing as he realized what the tablets meant. We left instructions for future civilizations. Veltar continued reading. When our children returned to the stars, they were to be welcomed as the inheritors of ancient wisdom. They would bring balance to the galaxy, the ability to be both warriors and peacemakers, destroyers and creators. Jake looked around the room at the alien faces staring at him. You're saying humans ruled the galaxy before? Not just ruled it, Dr. Veltar said through the communicator. Protected it, guided it, and when they saw that their power was harming other species, they gave it up voluntarily. General Kavash's rocky features showed deep thought. The prophecy warned us about your return, but it wasn't a warning of conquest. It was instructions for peace, Ambassador Helnara realized, her branches moving with excitement. Jake felt tears forming in his eyes. The ancient humans. They were our ancestors, and they left the galaxy so that other species could grow and develop on their own. But they knew their children would eventually return to the stars, Veltar added, and they left the prophecy to guide us in welcoming you home. The battle in space was still raging, but Jake knew it had to stop. General Kavash, we need to contact both fleets immediately. This war is exactly what the ancient prophecy was trying to prevent. Kavash and Jake worked together to send a ceasefire message to all ships. It took hours of explanation, but slowly the shooting stopped as both sides learned the truth about humanity's ancient connection to the galaxy. Admiral Kelly Roberts couldn't believe what she was hearing. Jake, are you telling me that humans lived in space millions of years ago? Not just lived here, Kelly. We were the galaxy's protectors. And when we left, we made sure other species would be ready to welcome us back when the time was right. Dr. Veltar's final discovery was the most important. Hidden in the deepest part of the archives, she found tablets that showed the ancient humans' last gift to the galaxy. A plan for cooperation between all species, with humanity serving as mediators and guides rather than rulers. The prophecy's final line makes sense now, she explained to the assembled leaders. Fear not their weapons, for their greatest strength lies in what they call humanity. It wasn't talking about military power. It was talking about the human ability to choose cooperation over domination, peace over conquest. 6 months later, representatives from all 13 species met on a neutral world to sign the new Galactic Accord. Admiral Kelly Roberts shook hands with General Kavash while cameras from a dozen worlds recorded the historic moment. Captain Jake Martinez was promoted to lead the new Joint Exploration Fleet, with Dr. Veltar as his chief science officer. Their first mission would be to explore the ancient human ruins scattered throughout the galaxy, learning from the civilization that had voluntarily given up power for the good of others. As the ceremony ended, Jake looked up at the stars and smiled. Humanity had finally come home to the galaxy. Not as conquerors, but as the peacemakers their ancestors had always intended them to be. The prophecy is complete, Dr. Veltar said, standing beside him. No, Jake replied, watching human and alien, children playing together in the distance. The prophecy was just the beginning.